There were some fugitives that were there that were not moving on, and that there were others that were moving on. So Seymour took the fugitives that were moving on, they hid in his lumber wagon, and he left for the next stop. And many hours later, he came back home, as his daughter relayed, to ask the daughter, where's my son and where's the other fugitives that were in the house? And she took him to where they were in the barn, and apparently the young son and the fugitives were dancing and having a good time in the barn because the fugitives were just so happy to be on the way to freedom that he kind of came back to a little dancing party, I guess. That's the story that his daughter tells anyway. She also mentions that he had in his barn a false floor or a trap door that when you open had a space in the barn where he hid the fugitives that were lodged in his home. One of the points of interest that bikers might be interested in is an intersection in Parma Township where there is a bronze plaque dedicated to Quakertown. And Quakertown was a town in the 1840s where a colony of Quakers lived and worked, and they were very active in the anti-slavery movement. In fact, they were one of the strongest supporters of anti-slavery, and they connected directly with the DeLands because Mary DeLand was of Quaker stock. There were slaves that actually were hidden on the property. Not only did they harbor slaves on their property, but they transported them to the next stop, which they specifically mentioned was the DeLand property. Another one of my favorite stories was a story about Royal Watkins, who was a wealthy farmer in Norville Township. He owned hundreds of acres, and Royal was a very strong anti-slavery man. One of my favorite stories involving Royal is his tendency to want to hire fugitive slaves as field workers on his farm. He not only wanted to transport them to freedom, but if they wanted a chance to earn money, he would hire them during the summer on his farm. One summer in 1847, he hired a fugitive slave by the name of John White. The owner of the plantation that John White had worked on tracked him to Royal Watkins' farm. And one summer day in 1847, hired a posse of 7 and came blazing onto Royal Watkins' property, thundered up to his door and pounded on it and said, "We know that you have hired a fugitive from our plantation. We demand that you return him." And Royal had a choice. Do I stay in the safety of my house? Do I step outside? And at this point in the drama, in my mind, it almost had the makings of the showdown at OK Corral. You know, on one side you've got 7 armed men in a posse, and on the other side you have a lone but defiant Jackson farmer, and he stepped out of his house. And he challenged the group, and guess who won? The defiant Jackson farmer. He basically told them, "You are not in Kentucky anymore. You're in Jackson, Michigan, and you're on my property. Get off." And by the way, I got tipped off that you were coming. And I personally took the man that you're looking for, John White, to Jackson's train depot, and he's in Canada by now. I know a man's life was saved because the plantation owner had sworn that if he ever got his hands on John White again, he was going to scatter him as far as the wind could carry him. That was a quote. And so it would not have gone well for John White if he was surrendered. So Royal Watkins not only saved a life, but I think gave us an example of courage to look back on for inspiration.
For many years, funeral homes have been raising their prices while at the same time lowering their level of service. At Hampton Funeral Homes, we believe in the exact opposite. We've invested in you by providing comfortable and state-of-the-art facilities so that we can serve your family the way you deserve. If you've had a poor or disappointing funeral experience in the past, let us show you what a professional and caring funeral home looks like. Visit one of our 3 locations to make your arrangements today.
Craving something sweet? At the ABC Bakery, our donuts are made fresh every day. Swing by and treat yourself at 1931 Horton Road. Don't miss out on the freshest donuts in town.
At Da Vinci, I am free to be myself. I don't have to follow the same path as anyone else through the maze of school. I have gotten to try new things and explore my interests like robotics and basketball. I love the small class sizes so my teachers can help me when I'm stuck, but my favorite part is they help me find my path to graduation. I'm confident navigating hard classes because of my personalized plan. Being a Da Vinci student is awesome. Learn more about Da Vinci's student-centered education at davincinow.org.
For over 80 years, Raymond has been a partner in growth, helping individuals, governments, and businesses optimize their path to success.
From tax, audit, and wealth management to technology and HR solutions, our specialized teams offer deep expertise tailored to your industry and your goals. We provide the forward-thinking solutions you need to navigate today and lead tomorrow.
Our commitment goes beyond the bottom line. We empower people and organizations so we can all strengthen the communities we call home.
That's why we proudly support local champions and invest our time in keeping our community growing.
Raymond, empower your purpose.
To everyone out there who loves Culver's,
the feeling is mutual.
Everything's made fresh.
Everything. Everything.
It's our pleasure.
This is me and my happy place.
I wouldn't trade our Culver's for any other restaurant.
Culver's. Yay! We love our guests.
Love.
As much as our guests love us.
This is me and my happy place.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
Jackson Coffee Company. Roasted fresh in store so you can brew it at home.
When Royal Watkins and his family moved to Norville Township, they first built a log cabin. That log cabin burned and they built a second log cabin. And that log cabin burned because they had homemade chimneys and there was, fires were a common hazard at the time. So for the third dwelling, they decided enough with the log homes, they're susceptible to burning, we're going to build a brick home. Construction began in 1860 and it was finished in 1864 or 65. And the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863, effectively freeing slaves. So conceivably, it could have harbored some slaves from 1860 to 1863 as maybe an unfinished brick structure. That is possible. But that brick home still stands today, and it's a beautiful piece of architecture. Royal Watkins was a devoted Democrat, and he tied his beliefs in liberty and in freedom to his political stance. That was a very important part of what he was. And one of the things I love about the Underground Railroad movement in Jackson is that it reflected a broad array of participation all along the political spectrum. You have people that founded the Republican Party. You have staunch Democrats like Royal Watkins. You have everybody in between. You have rich, you have poor, you have farmers, you have judges, you have Caucasians, you have African Americans. It is this beautiful cross-section of the population that came together for a cause bigger than the sum of their differences. When we talk about the story of Royal Watkins and how he took this defiant stand against the posse, it ended quite well. While the story had pretty much a happy ending, at least in Jackson, not all stories had a happy ending. There were instances of plantation owners bringing lawsuits against Jackson residents that harbored their runaway slaves and actually transported them to freedom. And the Cross-White case is one of those cases that has a Jackson connection. This particular legal case that was filed was one of the more dramatic and more famous of the lawsuits in United States history. history regarding the transportation of fugitive slaves, and it has a Jackson connection.
Adam Crosswhite was a mulatto slave, the result of his father, a slave owner, getting his mother, a slave, pregnant. Adam Crosswhite was traded to a local slave owner, Francis Giltner. Francis Giltner decided that he was going to sell his slaves down the river. Adam Crosswhite was not going to have that. He was only a river crossing away from freedom. So, with his family in the 1840s, early 1840s, went across the Ohio River, and through the assistance of the Quakers and those abolitionists in Indiana, made his way up to Michigan. Now, once he got into Michigan, he got into the community of Marshall. Now, many of the slave owners in the South would hire detectives or spies. Subsequently, this detective got to Marshall, and he verified that Adam Crosswhite was living there with his family, and he returned back to Boone County, Kentucky, and informed Francis Giltner, "Hey, I think I've located your slaves." Well, Francis Giltner then turned to his nephew, Francis Troutman, an attorney, and he went north to verify what this detective had found in Marshall. Francis returned back to Kentucky, went to a courthouse, and got a court order under the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 to seize these slaves and take them back, and to get local authorities to support him in this. And he subsequently got a posse together, and they came back to Marshall with their court order to take into custody their property, Adam Crosswhite and his family. And in doing so, he went and he got the local deputy in Marshall to assist him, Mr. Dixon. Subsequently, the deputy and Adam Crosswhite went into town, Marshall, and to the courthouse to make sure, verify that it was correct. At the same time, Francis Troutman stayed in the house to make sure that the other sons did not escape again. Subsequently, a number of the free blacks were agitated and tried to force their way in, and Francis Troutman pulled out a weapon and threatened them. One of these freed blacks, Calvin Hackett, he went to the courthouse as well, and he sought and obtained a court order for their arrest, and he provides it to the deputy. So now you have Deputy Dixon with two court orders, one from Kentucky saying that Francis Troutman has the right to the slaves, another saying, hey, Francis Troutman committed an assault with intent to murder and he needs to be taken into custody. And he has outside a crowd that's agitated. What's he going to do? Well, the deputy took Francis Troutman and his posse into custody, took him down to the courthouse to have this cleared up by the judge. While this is occurring, the people of Marshall escape away Adam Crosswhite and his family. Brings them to probably a wagon to Jackson. They put him on the train in Jackson to Detroit, and then they escape to Canada and their freedom. Francis Troutman subsequently is released. He returns a year later to Detroit and files a lawsuit in the Detroit federal court that they were wrongly deprived of their property under the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Subsequently, that first case, the jury was they could not make a decision. So they were dismissed, and subsequently there was a subsequent trial, and the slave owner won. The idea being that, and the decision was made that a slave, which is property, can't wrongfully take himself to a free state and expect that he will be given his freedom.
Jackson has a proud story to tell, which leads, I think, to another point of the book, and that is to celebrate a positive aspect of Jackson's history. I've heard from so many people that when I mention I'm from Jackson, they say, oh, prison town. And I think somehow Jackson is stuck with this one aspect of its history, and there's so much more to tell, that this is a good story to contribute towards Jackson's past and that carries over into its present. So it's an opportunity to celebrate a good story that happened here in Jackson.
Welcome to the David Rice Show, your dynamic source for all things Jackson sports. From high school games to the Spartans and Wolverines, we're covering it all. NFL highlights, area golf tournaments, and so much.
Live from the O'Hara Construction Studio in downtown Jackson, it's the Bart Hawley Show. I'm Adam Bragginser, inviting you to join Bart and his guests. City of Jackson's Chief Equity Officer, John Willis. From Northwest Middle School, teacher Eric Giannunzio. Henry Ford Jackson's Wellness Wednesday with athletic trainer for Hanover Horton, Kevin Fleming. High school boys basketball highlights from Concord High School's win by JTV Sports. And for Kiker Elementary School's production of Lion King Kids, student actors Jackson Zook and Kashay Nichols. And now, here's Bart.
Hi, thanks so much, Adam Bragginser, and good afternoon, everyone. Great to have you with us today on this rainy Wednesday afternoon. Right now, there's a little bit of respite in the rain, but it will be picking up again later this afternoon. We saw the first of a series of storms go through overnight. Around 2 a.m. is when we really got hit. With strong winds and heavy rains, we got a half an inch of rain overnight. And we could still see another half inch. And with that, the Weather Service says we have a flood watch for the Grand River in Jackson County. And it looks like the rain will start again sometime after 3 o'clock this afternoon and be with us for well into the evening hours. Windy this afternoon, too. Right now it's 58 degrees. We could warm up a little bit more, maybe to 62, but not like yesterday. We set a record high. It was the warmest March 10th in Jackson history at 72 degrees, and it's all downhill from there. Overnight tonight, a low of 27. Thursday, sunny. This front will have moved through. A high on Thursday of only 42. Normal high for this time is 38. So that's still an improvement over our normal. Then for Thursday night, rain mixing with snow showers overnight and windy. Could see a half inch of snow accumulating and a low of 31. Friday, rain showers, maybe mixing with snow in the morning. Then gradually ending, becoming mostly cloudy, high on Friday of 46. And then the weekend, for both days, temperatures cold. Saturday, cloudy and a high of 40. And of course, for the ORS Shamrock Shuffle, a bit chilly. But it should be dry, as opposed to Sunday, where we'll have rain and snow showers once again, high of 48. And then next week, if you think it's cold, this week, Monday's high with a chance of rain and snow showers, 28. Monday and Tuesday, 28. Wow. Well, there you have it. That's our weather. And it's brought to you by Kelly Express. Kelly Express has a deal on pizza. The large specialty pizza is just $25, and they will throw in an order of breadsticks. You can also find all your favorite snacks and beverages at Kelly Express, like Bugles and Chex Mix, 2 for $6 this month, and Welch's fruit snacks are 2 for $5. Did the Mega Millions? Did anyone win?
I didn't win.
I didn't win. I bet no one won.
Probably, I would say no.
So you can get your lottery tickets at Kelly Express as well. Outside right now, just cloudy and foggy. It's wet. It's damp.
Yeah, it is.
It's March in Michigan. Today is the 11th of March, this month flying by. It's National Promposal Day. So with prom coming up, this is the day that people go all out in making their prom proposal to their intended. So Promposal Day is today. It's Dream Day, Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day, and World Plumbing Day. And we're also celebrating Johnny Appleseed Day. On this day in 1811, it was the original Rage Against the Machines, a group of British weavers and textile workers. They called themselves Luddites. They began breaking the new industrial machines that were installed in their workplaces because they believed that the machines would eliminate their jobs, and they were right. So it's kind of like what we have now with AI putting people out of work. Already we have heard reports of some companies cutting thousands of workers and replacing them with AI bots. And protests back in the 1800s spread all over Europe. Do you think we'll ever have that? Do you think the people will rage up against the AI?
We got to do it soon because it's getting very...
yeah.
It's growing.
On this day in 1669, Mount Etna began rumbling. That was on the island of Sicily in Italy. Multiple eruptions over the next few weeks killed more than 20,000 people and left thousands more homeless. Most of the victims could have saved themselves if they just left. They wanted to try to save their city. Wow. Brendan, if we had a volcano erupt on the corner of Morrell and High, would you try to save the city, or would you skedaddle?
I'd skedaddle.
I'd skedaddle.
Yeah.
On this day in 1888, one of the worst blizzards in American history, 1888, hit the Northeast, killing more than 400 people and dumping as much as 55 inches of snow on the ground in some areas. The New York and the Northeast corridor thought they got hit a couple of weeks ago, but nothing like in 1888. And at that time, 25% of the population of the whole country lived between Washington, D.C. and Maine. So it was pretty devastating, affecting so many Americans, 104, with the great blizzard of 88. And on this day in 1989, the TV show Cops premiered, a documentary-style television show where Fox cameras followed the men and women of, how's it called? The men and women of blue and brown. They actually followed, the first season, they followed the men and women of the Broward County Sheriff's Department in Florida.
It's a good state to start.
Yeah, it really is, Florida. That's where they get all their material. They also, I think this shot was from San Diego, San Diego. But one of the rare arrestees with a shirt on. It seemed like they'd knock on the door, cops would knock on the door, and when the cops come to your door, you know it. I mean, you look out the window, there's a cop car put on a shirt. But for some reason, people would wear
very little
when they answered the door. It went off the air in 2020, but I think there's a new version of Cops. And then the reruns will live, of course, forever. Now Today in the J, brought to you by Experience Jackson. And the excitement is happening in Pirate Country today, a fundraiser for Napoleon football from 5 till 7 p.m. Napoleon football head coach Derek Shell is joining the crew at Napoleon Subway to make sandwiches to raise money for Napoleon football. And JTV's, we'll have a crew out there too. Is Max?
Max will be out there, yep. Mm-hmm.
Max will be out there as well, and he will help Derek Shaw make Subway sandwiches. So all the proceeds go to the football program, thanks to Kelly Express and Kelly Fuels for hosting this fundraiser for Pirate football. And while you're in Napoleon, you can get caught reading at the Napoleon Cafe from 3 till 6:30 today. Join Jackson District Library at the Napoleon Cafe for a read-in. Read-ins are a fun way to show your support of literacy by reading in a public place. Bring your own book, or you can visit JDL's on-site pop-up library. Reading on site for 15 minutes, earn attendees a Get Caught Reading and a Get Caught Read In button, and best of all, a slice of Napoleon Cafe pie. And of course, Napoleon Cafe, famous for their awesome pies. Today, we have Birds of Michigan with the Dahlem Center at the Meyer branch of the Jackson District Library from 4:30 to 5:30. And tonight, the Bohm is launching a brand new series. You've heard of Blues at the Bohm. Well, tonight, the Bohm launches Booze at the Bohm. And they are doing a night out with Booze at the Bohm, a fresh tasting series for adults. And it begins with, appropriately enough, tonight, Irish whiskey. This inaugural Booze at the Bohm invites guests to sip, savor, and socialize while sampling Irish whiskeys with light snacks in a relaxed, social, and indulgent atmosphere. They'll have rotating themes and beverages throughout the year, and this first event sets the tone. Seating is limited. I believe the cost is $35. There's an event page link on our Today in the J on our homepage, and also at the Bohm on their website. And that is Today in the J, brought to you by Experience Jackson. High school basketball postseason, we're in the thick of it right now. And last night, the Concord Yellow Jackets playing at Portage Northern against Colon. They won the state Division IV quarterfinal 49-41. Wow. Congratulations to Concord. They will now move on to the state semifinal. They will play Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian at the Breslin, 7:30 on Thursday. So tomorrow night, they win that game, and then they're in the state final on Saturday. I don't want to jinx it. We'll have highlights from last night's game later in today's show. It was Soups On for Seniors last night. Oh, and we have all kinds of girls' regional final action tonight, and JTV Sports will be everywhere. We'll be covering all of those games. So details later tonight and tomorrow. But Soups On for Seniors, a fundraiser presented by the Friends of Jackson Seniors and the Jackson County Department on Aging, raising money for the Meals on Wheels of Jackson County program. Attendees at the American One Event Center at Kelly Park enjoyed soup from about more than a dozen restaurants, all known for their soup. Rocky Top, with a big cauldron of soup. And following the samplings of soup, people had a chance to sample some desserts from a couple of the bakeries. There was an auction, 50-50, and entertainment by the ever-popular Matt Walsh. More photos online at jtv.tv. You get word today that Vista Grand Villa has announced that they plan to enter into an affiliation with Otterbein Senior Life, a nonprofit senior living organization based in Lebanon, Ohio. They've been around since 1912. They're well respected. Under this agreement, Vista Grand Villa will become a wholly owned subsidiary of Otterbein Senior Life. Both boards have approved the affiliation agreement, and it has a series of regulatory approvals it has to go through. Following completion of that, Vista Grand Villa will be renamed. It'll get a new name. It'll be Otterbein Jackson Senior Life Community. And everyone at Vista Grand Villa, according to Executive Director Chelsea Isley, they will be keeping their jobs. Everything's going to stay the same. Everybody will remain on the team at Vista Grand Villa. Last night, the Jackson City Council agreed to expand the 100 Homes Down Payment Assistance. This program has been very successful so far. 34 homes have been completed or sold. 18 additional homes are under construction. And this program has spurred the construction of new homes outside of the 100 Homes program due to the assistance of the City of Jackson is offering contractors and developers. According to the move that the City Council made last night, the maximum down payment assistance available to eligible buyers increases from $25,000 up to $50,000, allowing the program to better support current and future residents navigating these rising housing costs. The program, anyone interested, can visit the City of Jackson website. The program is not limited to first-time home buyers. So that, I believe that's a change, and it's available to qualified buyers purchasing homes constructed through the initiative. And there are also other incentives that may be available from your lender or from the state, but you're encouraged to talk to your mortgage lender and the City of Jackson for more information on this great program. The city receiving $300,000 from the state to help support that. The original funding for the first round of 100 Homes Down Payment Assistance was from the ARPA funds that the city received following COVID. Today is Wednesday, and that means it is Wellness Wednesday, presented by Henry Ford Health. Your wellness journey begins here at Henry Ford. They're committed to supporting your wellness every step of the way. Today, Kevin Fleming, athletic trainer at Hanover Horton Schools and Henry Ford Jackson, will be with us later in today's show. In today's show, we've got a great lineup of guests. We will get started in just a couple moments. First up will be John Willis, who is the Chief Equity Officer and Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the City of Jackson. Also today, we have our Northwest Schools teacher feature with Eric Giannunzio. He's a teacher at Northwest Kidder Middle School. In addition to Kevin Fleming, we'll also keep the focus on sports and bring you the highlights from last night's quarterfinal win by Concord in boys basketball. And from Kiker Elementary School, we have two students who will be performing in the Lion King Kids production at Kiker, Jackson Zuki and Kashay Nichols. All of these fine folks here today on JTV. And you, great to have you here. And we get started with John Willis right after this.
At Southern Michigan Bank and Trust, local banking means more than just financial services. It's about trust and personal connections. Whether you need help with personal accounts or business solutions, our team is here to help you every step of the way. SMBT has been investing in Jackson and is here to serve. Visit them downtown at the 200 or check out their newest branch at the corner of Horton and Weatherwax in Summit Township. Southern Michigan Bank and Trust. Ready for better banking? Switch today.
Miller Shoes in downtown Jackson has been providing fit and comfort for over 84 years. Are you feeling the love from your running shoes? Try New Balance Total Fit, where 88 points of fit combine to embrace every angle of your foot for a sensation of pure anatomical pleasure. And let running feel the love.
Our shoes, like your feet, come in a wide variety of widths and sizes, from the very narrow to the very, very wide, from the long to the short.
Shop downtown Jackson at Miller Shoes,
where our family has been serving yours for over 50 years.
Did you know Alro sells more than just metals? We are a one-stop shop for all your plastic needs. Whether you need one piece or 1,000, Alro offers a wide selection of sheet, rod, tube, and custom machined parts cut to size and delivered next day. Visit alroplastics.com, your source for performance plastics.
My voice. My passion. My path. My career.
Concord Community Schools. Our students shatter expectations.
You never think about a good tow truck service until you really need one. Jimmy's Towing and Auto Repair in Jackson will be there for you in a flash. Our technologically advanced GPS software enables us to pinpoint your location and dispatch the closest truck to assist you in no time. Jimmy's has the largest towing and rescue truck fleet in the area, and we have the right equipment for any towing need. When you need help in a flash, call Jimmy's. Jimmy's Towing and Repair in Jackson.
For many years, funeral homes have been raising their prices while at the same time lowering their level of service. At Hampton Funeral Homes, we believe in the exact opposite. We've invested in you by providing comfortable and state-of-the-art facilities so that we can serve your family the way you deserve. If you've had a poor or disappointing funeral experience in the past, let us show you what a professional and caring funeral home looks like. Visit one of our 3 locations to make your arrangements today.
No hot water? Let the professionals take care of you. Grimes Plumbing offers fast, reliable service with over 20 years of experience. Give us a call to restore your hot water, because at Grimes, we love water.
JTV and orthopedic rehab specialists bring you the ORS Photo Galleries, your front row seat to all the action in Jackson. Every week, JTV is out in the community, capturing stunning full HD images of local events, festivals, and high school sports. Don't miss a moment. Head to jtv.tv now to browse, relive the excitement, and purchase prints of your favorite highlights.
Clue, live on stage, the uproarious new play based on the hit movie and classic game. Murder and blackmail are on the menu when 6 mysterious guests assemble for a dinner party. Was it Mrs. Peacock in the study with the knife, or perhaps Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench? This fast, furious, and funny whodunit will leave you dying of laughter.
Coming to Wharton Center April 7th through 12th. Tickets on sale now at whartoncenter.com.
Today, great coffee from the Jackson Coffee Company. Well, on a chilly, wet day like today, Jackson Coffee Company coffee hits the spot. They also have ice cold beverages and an Irish menu for St. Patrick's Day at Jackson Coffee Company downtown and on East Michigan Avenue. Thanks to Cascades Manor, Kirk and his team for an awesome lunch. Chicken Caesar salad.
And blackened chicken.
Blackened chicken.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
That's the way I like it. Blackened chicken with all the trimmings, plus fresh baked rolls, house-made dressings, and house-baked cookies at Cascades Manor. They'd love to see you. You've got an event, they've got room at Cascades Manor. Our first guest on today's show, from the City of Jackson, Chief Equity Officer and Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, John Willis. John.
How's it going, Bart?
Good. How are you
Thanks
doing?
for having me, man.
Yeah,
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. Most
nice.
definitely. Most definitely. Yes, sir.
We just saw each other at the State of the City.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And you received something special at the State
We
of the City.
did.
Have you shown that off yet, Bart?
Just handed it to you.
You
You just
think
handed
you
it
stuff
to
up under the tongue.
yes. Oh, yes. Well, there you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With
you look thinner than me on camera, Bart. Did you know that?
I have a special
Just checking
camera.
to tell. Is that what it is? Okay. Just checking to be sure there. Yeah. Yeah, that was a wonderful honor for you and your wife. And Bart, I always go back into my Bart Hawley history, man. I remember you working that little button in the room. You were doing everything. You were the camera crew, you were the light guy, you were the sound guy, and you were the guy doing the interviews, all at the same time at Jackson Crossing. And to grow into what you guys have grown into, well deserved. Well deserved.
Thanks so much.
Really great people got awards that night as well.
There were,
yes.
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a good memory, John. 27, 28 years
Man,
ago.
wow, yeah, I remember that clear as day, man, clear as day. I'm watching, and the switch was broke. I don't know if you remember that or not. The switch was broke, so you had to hit it just right to get the camera to move. I remember that well.
That's right. You've got a great memory.
but you did it.
Well, that means you've been part of JTV all these years.
Man, a long time, man, a long time. I'll just tell you, I can kind of measure myself sometime by the JTV pictures, and they tell me what kind of shape I'm in, what am I doing right or wrong. So we'll shoot for a different photo in June. So.
Well, I think one thing that we do have in common, John, neither of us are native Jacksonians.
Right.
But we've become, I think, we are now. I mean,
yes. Jackson is home to me, man. I feel like a Jacksonian because I've been here so long to turn into a Jacksonian. I remember the Detroit days and the Ypsilantic days, but Jackson is home, man. Jackson is home, and I wouldn't trade the world for it. Love this community.
I think we heard from you and Jonathan Green and the mayor some really cool things about the state of the city. And
yes, sir.
It sounds like in a lot of the metrics, housing, crime, community growth, that we are seeing a lot of good positive things happening.
We really are. Jackson has been through some transitions. I was here during the time we were doing more home demolitions and property blights and corrections and things, and now to see home developments going into that area, to see downtown like it is now with the restaurants and opportunities that we have here, to see the MLK corridor receiving the attention that it's receiving. West Avenue has changed. A lot of things have really changed. So I believe Jackson's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I remember years ago before, the revitalization of downtown, I'd look at, like Chelsea and Marshall and Ann Arbor and think, oh, I wish we had a downtown like that.
Yes,
but
sir.
I don't think that anymore.
Right. I think Jackson's really grown, man. We frequent the places downtown. Probably been to the Luna Lux more times than I should, but it's yeah, really good catfish nuggets over there in case anybody's watching. But they do a really great job over there. So we get over there, get over to some of the other places downtown, bring families through, and then when I come through in the evenings, Bart, to see people visiting at places downtown, that's amazing for Jackson. It wasn't always like that down here for a while.
No, it was tumbleweeds at night.
Yeah, it was. So it's amazing.
The next area for growth and improvement is the MLK corridor.
Yes, sir.
And there are a couple things that are happening, some very active things happening in the corridor.
That's correct. We are actively pursuing our grocery store development now. We're in some finalizing conversations for those things. It's very exciting. It's a huge, almost 13-acre site, I believe it is, where we're looking at putting a grocery store that located on the south side of Jackson, but it's also right there on the edge of the east side and right near downtown. So the south side has been a farm food desert for over 30 years now. So to have this opportunity coming forward, to have organizations stepping up that want to be the developers for that grocery store, it's a challenge because it's always tough to get grocery stores in the right place, make sure you have the things they need to be viable as well. So this is exciting.
I think one of the things the developers are wanting to know is what is the density of population within X number of yards or feet.
Exactly.
Right?
What are the heads and beds? What are the normal people that's there, the residents, and then what are the people that travel through? How accessible is this store? What does it attract? Will it attract other businesses to that area? So we will look at this store as like a kind of anchor store for the development in that area. But it would be great, with all the new apartments that's coming into the downtown area, the new housing, our community development department, the 100 homes. It's just amazing. I don't know if you've been over by near the hospital area, the new homes and things that's going over there. Now they have 6 new houses going up. Maple Street on the south side. So you're increasing heads and beds. You're on a kind of major highway right there off with what is it, 127 south that's running through that area, or 50 south. Which one of them it is, Bart, but you're right there, and you got the traffic that comes down on East Michigan Avenue as well. So it's a great spot with great viability. We have some heads and beds, we have some stores, we have some businesses, we have a lot of traffic. So in this previous spot we looked at, Bart, it was like 5,000 on MLK Drive, and around 4,000 just over on Prospect Street for about just close to 10,000, maybe 11,000 people traffic. Now the area we're moving to, you're talking about over 30,000 cars in traffic. So that helps attract the grocer. We're meeting with some grocers to see what their interest is in getting there and finalizing some things with the developer. The Martin Luther King Corridor Improvement Authority has been very intentional about making sure that this is a proper grocery store. This is a real fresh food option for the south side, for the MLK corridor, but for the city of Jackson downtown as well.
The other thing about that spot on Prospect and MLK, you mentioned the much smaller footprint.
Yes.
But it's about a mile and a half from the Polly's in Vanderbilt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have to look at what's attractive to the grocer, and Polly's is a grocer. Polly's is a local grocer in Jackson. I think it'd be great. Hint, hint. Polly's is a great local grocer as well. But it's important that we provide this opportunity to those that have access. So if you think about the location where we're at Cooper Street and Biddle Street, the city walking trail actually goes right by that spot. Our city bus terminal is not far away, and the traffic that goes there. So a person without transportation, you can still walk to that site. It'll be awesome.
Well, I know the Kennedy family, they're committed to Jackson, and they are in a growth mode right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So who knows? They've got some new young energy that they're looking to grow the company. So who knows?
So awesome. I got a Bart Harley recommendation there. That's all I need right there. That's to keep us moving. But we're really excited about that opportunity, Bart. The MLK-CIA is also looking at doing some other things. There was a vote made at the MLK-CIA to look at a restaurant incubator at an old advanced auto building there. So we got some things that the corridor is really excited about, really proud to be taking some steps on, just taking their time, making sure everything's done proper. The important thing is for the corridor to build up the tax increment funding base so that you can keep pouring into the corridor every year, and then so that things are sustainable. The corridor has been very intentional. Our chair, our mayor, our vice chair, and the board members have been very, very intentional about making sure that the things that they do are sustainable. So that 10 years from now, when you look at what did you do with $4.5 million? How did you grow that into something that's sustainable, that keeps coming in? If we just look at that as a one-time thing, and we don't do things that are sustainable, once that's gone, it's gone. But if we do some really, really great developments that pour back into the corridor, bring in the things that the community has indicated they need, restaurants, a grocery store, changes that have been made, those things are sustainable.
And you've got a new street, and by the end of this year, you'll have the entire street completely rebuilt.
Yes, sir. I rode down that street. I wanted to make sure that the detours and everything was open on my way here. And now they're working on the south end of MLK Drive. If you remember last year, from March to November, they worked on the north end, from Morrell Street to High Street. And it looks absolutely amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. Consumers' Energy chipped in and came in, replaced all the telephone poles, telephone lines and things in there, along with the grant that our Department of Public Works got. And Bart, it looks really, really amazing to come down there and now know that the second half, from High Street to South Street, is now under construction. We'll probably go through about November. They have some detours that will take you down Morrell Street, Cooper Street, and back up into South Street. And they always have the north lane. The north lane is always accessible if you're traveling down MLK Drive.
And we've still got the landscaping and the trees and all that. That's going to be that'll be added.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Once it's
really sharp. The new lights. It's got the 10-foot walking sidewalks. So you can have somebody walking while somebody's still riding on a bike without affecting one or the other. So it's really, really great to see, man. It's really considerate of the community and considerate of the changes and things that are needed in the community. A little safer streets where before in the past, for example, if someone was coming off of Ridgeway Street and they needed to walk to the other side of MLK Drive, they were crossing 3, almost 4 lanes. But now with the reduced diet, they're only walking across 2 lanes, which is a lot safer for our elders, a lot safer for our young people. So it's something to take into consideration for the community. And the MLK CIA is doing a great job, as well as the city of Jackson, on focusing on some things around there. Our community development department, definitely want to give them a shout out, because the addition of the houses and the properties and things over there, that's really great, man. That's really great for the South Side. So,
A couple days ago, Tyshawn Gray was with us. He's the chair of the City of Jackson Youth Council, and you work with the council, and you're helping them put on a youth leadership summit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tyshawn's a very, very, very sharp young man. Very sharp, great energy, man. When you talk to him, it's like you feel the energy, you know, that it gives off. So he's a powerful young man. Nicoya Davis, our youth council liaison, she's done just an amazing job in gathering the group together and seeing the things they're doing. They've teamed up with Henry Ford Hospital for a One Can is the name of it. So One Can make a difference, and collecting funds through that program and doing some different things. They've already gotten a check from there, and it's really great to see our young people interacting with our other local politicians, with our city council, with our senators and our other commissioners around. So it's great to see our young people taking an active part in civic work.
One of the things the MLK CIA has been doing, investing money in businesses
Yes,
that want to grow. And already, how many businesses have you helped?
Man, Bart, I can't remember the total amount of businesses, but I know it's just over $1.2 million in businesses invested in the community. And it's amazing to see some of the changes that have been made. One of the ones that sticks out in everyone's minds when you ride down MLK Drive is Mikey's Barbershop. Mikey's Barbershop used to be like an old gas station. And I mean, his space bar was smaller than probably where we're sitting right now. And to see now, I believe when talking to Mikey's multiples of 3, the space that he had before to what it is now. And it's visually a great sign of what the corridor's intent is to do and what we're trying to do in the corridor.
Yeah, I think that is probably the model business, because it's very visible, and it's done a beautiful job with his expansion.
He has, and he made some contributions on his own to it, which is a big part of understanding how the grant program works. A $50,000 grant, Bart, sounds like a lot of money. But in terms of building and construction costs today, it's not as much as you think it is. So the building or business owners have to be willing to contribute themselves to make some of the things happen that they want to see happen in the MLK corridor. And the Grant Review Committee, Monica Moser from Jackson Community Foundation leads that committee. They've been very, very selective in what they do and making sure that they're helping businesses that we can support, that can support the corridor long term.
One of the things we talked about after the State of the City last week, the fact that the city takes pride in having a department that is devoted toward diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes, sir.
And it's apparent the cities, they are all in on DEI, despite the threat that federal government would suspend support or funding for organizations, and it seems like it's primarily schools, higher education that has been threatened the most, but
yes, sir.
Municipalities have been fearful that could happen, but the city, you decided that you're not going to abandon your equity and diversity goals.
City of Jackson, our city council, our city manager, our mayor have been concrete in their support for what they believe in. They believe in real simple principles. Diversity, Bart, simply any difference that makes a difference. That's all it is. Equity simply means I walk into a room, there's 100 people, I bring 100 shirts. But if I bring all one size fits all, me and you are probably not gonna fit the same shirt, Bart. Equity simply means I just bring a shirt in that room that's in everyone's size. And inclusion just means when we're making policies, when we're completing processes, when we're considering making changes in communities, we include those people in those decisions. Now, for some reason, when you put those 3 letters together, it becomes a political term, DEI. But the fact is, I don't know anyone that's a caring person that don't think those 3 things are important, that you recognize differences and diversities that people have. Unfortunately, there are organizations that move backwards. But there are indicators, there are things that let us know we are in a forward-moving time and people all over, I'm convinced that there are more people that want to do right than they are to do wrong. Doesn't always appear that way, because sometimes the people who are not willing to make those decisions, they're in a capacity that allows them to speak on things that don't make sense. But I think Marcus Aurelius said that the opinion of 10,000 men mean nothing if they don't know what their opinions are about, or they know nothing about the subject. And it's the same thing. So people make assumptions and they find different ways. Isaac Asimov, something to believe that sometimes democracy to people means that your ignorance is just as good as my knowledge. And the thing is, if you learn people, if you learn humans, if you look at realistically at life, then you'll understand the opportunities. There have been some disparities caused intentionally. To not recognize that, to not accept that, it lets us know that you're not being realistic. Your expectations are not realistic. Your beliefs are not realistic. Because we know things happen. And to just say, hey, you know what? Well, everything's good now. That's over. Doesn't quite work like that. We have to look at things. We have to be considerate of people that do have disparities, people that do have challenges. Everyone's not the same, right? There are tall people, there are short people, there are people that have physical challenge, there are people that don't, there are people that learn different ways. Everybody doesn't learn the same way. And we have to be willing to address those changes. So I have to strongly applaud the city of Jackson, the city council, our city manager, and our mayor for the stands that they have taken to support this community in several different ways, making sure that our policies and things are equitable for everyone. It's a big ship. Big ships turn slow. We understand that. But to see those efforts there, to see that support, and the roots of this organization, it makes a big difference. And I believe it reaches out throughout our city.
And there are other organizations that feel the same way in the state.
Yes, sir.
Including government, municipalities, and colleges.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've spoken with some myself personally, so I'm aware of some. And one of the things that I think really happened when some of these things came out and different ridiculous comments and statements were made was that a lot of what is known as anticipatory obedience took place. In other words, there's no real threat yet. There's no real change other than somebody talking with something that they don't have the authority to do. But anticipatory obedience says, you know what, let's go ahead and do this anyway, and anticipate that something's bad going to happen if we don't.
And that the prime example is that funding will be pulled if the government decides that there are unconstitutional policies in place
right.
at a college.
Right. With their definition of unconstitutional. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't a true definition, and the courts have been very, very clear about that. So I think the thing is, yes, these organizations have made some changes, some declarations and some things that didn't have to be made at that time. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was anticipating that you're going to take this from us, or that you can take this from us, and which some things that they couldn't even legally do. And so I have to applaud the organizations that took a stand, not just locally, but just nationwide, that said, hey, we're not going to go for this, we're going to go to court, we're going to challenge this, we're going to defend. And Bart, I can tell you as a minority, as an African-American male, to see the reluctance to hang on or to fight for those programs, it changes my opinion of who or what this organization is. What I mean by that, I'm watching organizations with programs that advanced and helped people graduate from college, people that had disparities in their lives and had challenges, and then all of a sudden, in anticipatory obedience, you eliminate or you end these programs. It makes me wonder, did you really ever believe in it? Or was this just a money grab opportunity for you? It makes you wonder. So to see organizations that have stood up and met the challenges that we face today, it's awesome. It's awesome. I think it's important that we support and recognize those organizations. There'll always be some that won't. There'll always be some that won't. My mother was very clear about it to me. My mother was one of the persons that had the sit-ins in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, and participated in marches and things like that in Alabama. And she explained to me, never in my life did I think we'd come to a time like we are right now, where we're back protesting some of the same things. But she explained to me that there were African Americans that stood up, but there were also a lot of people from other races, other organizations, white people that stood with them to make this happen. I think that's what's important. What's important is when I talk to people and people support what they believe. That's important, Bart. It helps us know that, listen, we're changing. We're changing one way or another. And to see that change as a positive thing for me, it helps a lot. It helps communities.
Well, we appreciate you coming over today from the city of Jackson. Reminder that we want people to be at the Youth Summit, and it's free, and there's a dinner.
Yes, sir.
You can
Looking
scan
forward
this
to it.
code and get signed up at the beautiful City Center building.
Yes, sir. Looking forward. That's beautiful, isn't it?
It's awesome.
It's beautiful,
Yeah.
yes, sir. They've done a phenomenal job with that.
Great to see you. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having us, Bart. Really appreciate it.
You bet. John Willis is the City of Jackson Chief Equity Officer and Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Up next on JTV, it's our Northwest Schools Teacher Feature, and we have a teacher from Northwest Middle School, Eric Giannunzio, and he's standing by. Joins me next. Stay tuned.
Ready to shout bingo from the comfort of your home? Join AARP Michigan for our virtual bingo series. It's a fun way to connect, play, and learn. Each game features chances to win prizes and helpful hints on topics like fraud prevention and brain health. Games take place on March 26th and April 30th from 7 to 8 p.m.
For over 30 years, the Jackson area has relied on the knowledge and craftsmanship of Allen Brothers Fence Company. From wrought iron and aluminum to vinyl, wood, or chain link fencing, the friendly staff at Allen Brothers is the answer for your next decorative, security, or container